we s- we understood some basics. So with that, let's go to uh, yeah, let's go to storage in terms of how to create a storage. So this is the Azure portal. So here you can directly come here and create a storage, or you can search here as storage accounts. Um, so you can create storage account. Yeah, like any other thing, you first create a resource group. It could be this is something it should be unique. Uh, it should be small. Yeah. So this should be this is what I was referring the account name which I was referring in this presentation. So you need to create an account, then your container, and then the blob. So so this account is something. It is not it's not just for blob. I mean, as you see here, this is account which is an upper layer. So you need this account irrespective whether you use blob, table, file, or queue. So you need this account. So this is not just specific to blob. That's what I want to highlight. So yeah, first you will create an account. Then this account creation will be nothing to do with blob. It is all uh, one level upper, like creating an account, storage account. So here you don't see the blob terminologies here. It's all account specific terminologies where here, here options that you get are what is these are like standard and premium. So these are the two options that you have. Uh, and this kind is what is I'm seeing hearing some background noise. Srini or no? Okay, yeah. Um, Here, if you look at this storage account kind, so here is where you see the multiple storage kinds. And V2 is the general purpose V2 is the most used account or the latest generation storage. So the these are all legacies. So both borders they will be removed at some point. V1 and Blob Storage is something which came initially when Azure Storage introduced. Then V1 came and then now V2. So V2 is the latest that you need to use because and all the development is all happening in the V2 area only. So it is V2 is where you generally use. And here, this application is something which I didn't cover, which probably I will. This will address the redundancy aspect, which I will explain in the next session. What is this? Uh, uh, yeah, for now, let's keep it simple. Locally redundant storage. I will tell in the next session what is locally redundant storage and what are the differences between these LRS, ZRS, GRS, RAGRS, GZRS, and RAZRS. So I will explain all these things in a second in the following session. Let's keep it simple. Replication. So locally redundant storage, networking. Here you have public endpoint. Very recently, this private endpoint was introduced. So in all the cloud vendors now, the latest buzzword is uh, uh, that public is always risky. So because it is all exposed to public, right? So private is something which is unique. Only you only will know. No one will have access. Where it's like private IP versus public IP. So the same thing. The private endpoint versus public endpoint. Now so far, I mean, all the AWS is also investing on private endpoints now. So and Microsoft also is the private endpoint. So yeah, we had something new addition, but earlier, but most commonly used is public endpoints. I mean, for start with simple. Um, so I will select as public endpoint and the routing network. How you want to how to route your traffic as it travels from the source Azure endpoint, right? So here the routing preference. This is Microsoft network, or you want to route onto your own network. Then it is good to have this Microsoft, which is the default one. And data protection. So it is all nothing to do with blobs. So that's what I want. Something to do with storage, storage account. So the data protection, what are the options? What is your preferences for data protection? You want to turn on the protection, turn on the point in time restore for containers, and turn on the soft delete for blobs. So all these things are your requirements. So for now I'll just keeping it simple. So yeah, the other options are basically soft deletes is very common requirement. Like how when you delete something in a blob, this is something very specific to blob. This is something you can do it only when you create an account, but you can't do it once if you don't check it. So this is basically once you delete a file, you want to enable a soft delete or delete it permanently. Soft delete is like you will not really delete it; you will mark it as deleted, but you are uh, not deleting it completely. Like for example, if you delete from a laptop, it is stored in the recycle bin. It's not really deleted. It is deleted from C drive probably, but it's not really deleted because the file is still sitting in recycle bin. But once you delete from recycle bin, it is permanently gone. So that is a similar category. So the file that you delete, that's called soft delete. So you're still the file physically is taking some space. So it is soft delete, not the real delete. But yeah, you want to enable that soft delete or not. So that one and same thing for blobs and files. So then tracking. So this is more turning on the versioning. So you want to enable the version 1.1, 1.2, because you can upload the same file again and again. So you want to track the versions or not. So I want to turn on the blob versions and also turn on the soft deletes. And here the soft delete comes, it takes some space. So how many days you want to keep the deleted blobs? Like 7 days. After that, delete it permanently. So or you want to keep it, for example, for 30 days or 360 days. So yeah, it's up to you how many days you want to keep it enabled. So and then next we do here enable. Here is where you get an option of hot or cool tab that we just discussed. And yeah, secure transfer enable is like HTTP or HTTPS. So you want to access the files, you want to enable HTTPS or not. So by default is enabled, but you can disable it if you want, if you don't want. And while you're enabling HTTPS traffic, what should be your TLS version? TLS version is 1.2. And also the blob storage. Yeah, we just discussed this. So you want public access to the blobs or not. So you want to enable public access. If you don't want to enable public access, you can keep it disabled. But you can change all these things later also. But yeah, these are preferences that we'll ask first. Then data lake storage Gen 2 by default. So yeah, I mean if you it depends on if a data lake is your requirement, then you select it or otherwise you disable it. By default, but it requires special privileges, so it is not in free tier available. So that's why it is disabled here. The Azure files like what type of files you want to, like large file shares you want to enable it or disable it, and table and queues. So if you look at, there are all these questions are all common to all the storages put together. So for there are some questions specific to blob, some preferences specific to table, some preference related to queue. But if you're not interested, you can keep it all defaults and then just create it. So basically, at this point, you created with some basic preferences which you can change anytime. But you created with some basic preferences. Some of them switch to blobs, some of them switch to files, some of them switch to tables and queues. And then with that, you create an account. So all your once you create an account, yeah, this point is asking to create. So it is I create an account. Now inside your account, you will go and create a storage. So and blob storage basically. So yeah, let's quickly this will take this one. After that, you can go inside and quickly. I think let's stop it once I create a container so that we can take it in the next sessions. So yeah, so when it is creating it, so in this process, what it will do is it will create an account for you, and it will give four options to you inside. Once you go inside, you can see what blob you want, whether you want to create a blob, table, file, queue, everything. Yeah, all these options will be available for you. You can next, I think you should select a blob because we're discussing about blob now. And yeah, once you create a blob, then blob, as you see here, the next step would be create a container, and then you can put files inside the container. Uh, just created it. Yeah, as you see here, these are the four options that you see here now. So container is primary for blobs, files, file share, tables, then queues. So yeah, the disks are something which is specific to VM. It is, if you look at the storage, this is also part of storage. This is also kind of a storage. The only thing is it is not part of this Azure Storage account primarily. So what you can do it, you can store anything inside your blob. For example, the virtual hard disk images, you can store it inside a blob. So you don't see a specific option there here, but they are kind of a blob storage where you select based on what we discussed. It is like a page blob. So you store the data in the page blobs. Right? And then if you go to containers, this is where you create. By default, you see this logs folder. And just creating a container. It's containers like directory. So you can create a container similar to what I mean, just to make it simple, like here, like pictures. You can create something like pictures, create and set pictures. It's like normal S3. You can upload some file from a local laptop or from that. You can upload some images here. So anything, any file, anything you can upload from a local laptop. Just uploading the text file here. Upload. So here you also have an option to what should be, you want to change your access states for a specific file, you can change it, hot, cool, or archive, you can change it. But yeah, by default, if you're not selecting hot, is the one default. So it is now uploaded. This file is now uploaded. So yeah, any questions? Sorry.
So one of the observation on this storage account is I think it's a very good concept from Azure perspective, because they introduced from Blob V1 to Blob V2. They could have a different version. Introducing new things, any storage is going to be seamless for consumption, because you're on these common properties, right? They made the properties common across, even to the queue level. I think it's a very nice, even from security perspective. Also, you have a central way of doing things.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I would say even introducing the new things within the storage space is much easier, because it is within the account, and they will make sure it is kind of
Common across
very
all.
easy to do that. In AWS, it is not that way. That's what I would say.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. So generally, if, all the common stuff across, right, there are any storage, there will be commonalities. Like we want to make this to be encrypted or HTTPS or HTTP or who should be your users and how they want to access it. So you want to keep it hot storage or cold storage. So I think common questions that you get in respect of what are the storage, underlying storage, the as a storage medium, there are questions something which are common. So those are all they took it to the parent. So and then there are childs. So you can make property specific to a child also, and you can change the child properties also. So, but I think that this idea of parent-child combination is good. So that way, it makes your life simple. You don't need to do anything specific for table or anything for file because all the properties are already defined in storage account level. Parent level itself is created that. So, yeah, I think that is really a big different compared to AWS. So that way, it is really some good features are there here. Right?
And the
Yeah,
UI is also pretty simple, right?
yeah, UI is also simple. Yeah, I mean even S3 also simple, but only thing is S3 doesn't have this account creation common for all kind of a thing is not there. I mean, you'll have S3, you have to create a S3 storage account and then you will use S3. Uh,
Correct.
but yeah, if you want to file storage, then it is not under the same bucket of the same account. So that is different again.
Here it's all in one account within that, and it's all available straight away under one Dropbox.
Yeah, exactly. So every time, if you want to come, we can again come to the same place in the storage account. So if you want to create a file, you need to do all these things. You can directly go to file share and you can access your file share. If you want to go to your blob, you can directly go to blob and check your blob store. So
all in one place.
All in one place.
One screen.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there are. I think we need to go through. There are a lot of options are there here in terms of how will you access this file. Now you upload a file. So how will you access this file, or how will you download the file? So it is one file, it is okay. But if you have multiple files, how will you manage this? So suddenly the complexities will increase here. So I think we'll go through that in the next session, where you have a lot of options on the left-hand side. How will you access this, and how will you give permissions to a particular file, and how will you how will you replicate this data that you uploaded across for high availabilities. So how do you encrypt these files? Like they call us the storage at rest, right? How do you ensure that storage at rest is security angle? And if you want to hear on some events on this file, when the file is uploaded, I want to be intimated. So such kind of events. How will you enable the events here? So those are all something. I mean, any common to any cloud platform, but we'll see how this are all introduced in Azure in the next session. Yeah. But I think that's all.
Google thing, right? They didn't do this way. So these guys you always look for usability perspective. That always good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think let's go through this. India. I think we already ran out of time. So yeah, let's continue this discussion in the next session. Yeah, I think let's talk logically here.
Okay, man. Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, we'll talk.
Shyam,
Yeah.
next week, so since I'm not a good speaker actually, so I can show that from a storage how to connect data factory and transfer the file from one folder to another folder. Like that, a simple explanation I can show as a demo.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, please go ahead. So that I will not
be
cover the
good,
same
and
topic.
also, and also you could stretch, see, from the general storage to the data specialization, right? You are focusing on data specialization, right?
Yeah.
How to connect with all these. Not only from tomorrow, from next week onward, to take that from how to take it to the big data level. Make sense?
Noise.
Oh, sorry. I don't know.
Yes,
For me. Let me go out with. Sorry.
No, I think it's good. Yeah. No. So at least we have more volunteers to help us going forward. So that will make the session more interesting also. That's good.